And this is Paul Reese, and this is the Paul Reese Derek Sanderson show. And of course, we got Derek Sanderson here.
Good evening.
And before we get into tonight's show, I'm going to read something for you. WFRE is on the air from Tuesday nights from 8 to 11 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, it's Bill Brady. At 9 o'clock, it's Paul Reese and Derek Sanderson. And at 10, it's the Hourglass with Eric Wagner. And we'll have a whole new season of Eric Wagner tapes soon. Tonight, we're going to talk about the philosophical outlook on God. And I hope we don't offend nobody out there, because it's not meant to offend anybody. This is just not anything completely a religious conviction.
It's something everybody knows.
It's something that everybody knows, and it's more or less from more of an open mind. So I would advise people, if you don't have an open mind, don't listen to this show.
Well, these people don't know if they have open minds.
Well, they'll know about it. They'll know about it when the time comes that they find if they, get highly get in Thailand. I don't want to.
No, I don't think anybody believes, that the old way the way that the medieval time God.
Yeah, well, there's been many different.
Anybody believes that. I mean, it's just.
First, let me get one thing. Let me get your outlook on God. Just to start us off.
My outlook on God? Well,
yeah.
I don't believe in God in the conventional sense, but I believe that there is some force that is God-like. I personally believe a type of philosophy of science.
You're more from the scientific point of view.
I believe in evolution, which is contradictory
to the Adam and Eve.
To the Adam and Eve theory, and just all over the way things are happening. A long time ago, scientists stopped using God to solve their problems. They started really solving them themselves.
I see. But what I want to know is, let me think for a second.
Well, in my philosophy of science, You've been
through a lot of scientific research, and you're into science. And has any of your teachers or whoever that taught you and whatever you learned and read through books, has science ever mentioned God?
No, not at all.
They don't mention him whatsoever?
They don't mention a word about him.
No.
Because what they're teaching us is the structure of matter, the mechanisms of life.
They have their own theories on how it was created.
Some of them do. Some of them go to church regular, too.
But they don't
it's all separate. To some of them, it's all separate. That science is over here and religion is over here. Science is during the week, and religion is on Sunday.
Yeah, but I mean, in science, do they have a different? They don't say that God whipped out of a bow and a needle. Let's say.
No, they don't say anything. They say that. Well, if you want the whole story.
No, I just want to get an idea on the idea of creation.
If you believe in the idea of creation is the Big Bang theory, all of the matter in the universe being concentrated at one point. Subsequent explosion, and galaxies are formed, coalescing gases, stars, planets. The cooling stages of these hot gases. The crust of planets forms.
Yes.
As more cooling goes on, then water forms.
Yeah,
it's not vaporized anymore. And then, in this ocean, a few amino acids get together. Form the DNA molecule. Later on, the DNA molecule becomes a little more specialized. It develops the protein cover. It becomes a cell.
Do they know what a DNA molecule consists of?
Yeah. Do you want to know what it consists of?
Yeah.
It's called deoxyribonucleic acid. That's DNA.
Yes.
It's ribose is a sugar, and it's the backbone. And jutting out from the sugar in nitrogenous bases
Yeah, but do they know what's inside of that sparks life? Do they know what causes life?
The
Do they know what causes?
yeah, all of our traits, the way our arms and hands are made, the way our faces are made, it's all in the DNA. It's all in the genes. That's what causes life. That's
But
if
do
you
they
just
know
look at
that
it.
the chemical reaction? Do they know exactly? They do know
Yeah.
exactly what.
They do know exactly what causes life. But just because that is, even if God made it, it would have to be made of something, right?
Right.
So he could still be there. I'm not saying that I believe in God in the conventional sense.
All right. Now let's say if.
But I'm not saying.
Would you say it would disprove God if man could whip up the back of his DNA and produce its own animals and beings?
I don't think it would be sacrilegious, no.
No, but do you think that would prove that maybe God isn't there? Do you think that would be a basis?
No, because if it was done once.
But if you look at most...
If God created matter, so can man. Because if it was done once, we see it. We know it can be done.
Religion
That's
says
the most
God
powerful
is
thing.
the only thing that can create life. Now, if man is able, out of nothing, to whip up DNA and form it into, animals, or even say a human, whipping up a human, and the human being lives normally, the scientists make genes, because they say the scientists possibly can make genes.
Sure. Then what is it?
If scientists,
we can create
what I'm
life.
saying is if scientists
Can create life.
create life, wouldn't that put a damper on God?
No,
But in
because
most
it would all be
religions-
okay.
Yeah, but most religions always base that God is the only one to create life. Now, if man can create life, wouldn't that put what would you call it,
Would that give him second place or something?
no, not giving second place, wouldn't that be totally contradicting, but
Okay, so they were
basic
wrong.
religion?
Okay, no. One of the principles in that religion is wrong. Change it. That's all.
So then you
What
would-
happens when we come up? What happens when scientists come up against things they can't explain?
Yeah, but
They
science and
investigate it. They
religion is
investigate
different.
it, and they say, "Well, this theory here is wrong." So
Yeah,
we
but
have
you
to
got
change
first-
the theory. We
first
don't
you have-
change. We don't change the happening.
first-
We don't make believe it didn't
All right,
happen.
let me see.
See, that's the whole thing. You don't ignore.
You
You don't ignore things that you see.
Let me tell you the reason why it would be more earth-shattering. If this thing is proven.
Okay.
Now, there are, do you think that there are more people who know about religion that know about science?
I'd say the people that know about religion are the majority.
The majority. So if,
Due to it coming into the picture sooner than science would.
right, all right, but so if science proves it, don't you think that would create quite a shock? What would the Pope say? What would say your rabbi say if you went to your local synagogue, or what would your Hindu say? I mean, like you would affect the whole religious
What would
outlook.
they say? They would either believe it and accept it, or not accept it.
But that's what I'm trying to say is that would be totally undermining their religion.
Right. Well, if it's wrong, it can't stand. But that won't make it wrong. Just that one thing won't make it wrong because we were interfering with God. Well, man has been interfering with God forever. Look at how old the science of medicine is. When you go to a doctor with a strep throat, he gives you something to make you feel better. Now God wanted you to have that strep throat in medieval thought, and that doctor's interfering. He's
And
interfering as much
possibly
as
you could
anyone
die from a strep throat
who would
too if
create
it's not
life.
treated.
Sure, you could die from many things if they're not treated. Do you think God wants the earth full of disease and pestilence?
All right, so
With
what
only a few survivors
but the
living in filth?
religious people would
I don't
say,
think so.
what religion would say to that would be that God allowed man to create medicine. Do you think they would still
God allows
turn
man
around
to create life, sure, because either they deal with it or they ignore it,
Oh, I see.
or they change it. That's all. They have to do one of three things. They either Ignore it, deal with it, or change it.
So they would just come out and say, God allowed man to create life just like God allowed man to deal in medicine, God allowed man to put the atom, God allowed man to do this. You know, of course they always, I think they always leave themselves an out by saying God gives you a free will.
Because that's why, because nobody really knows what God is. Because that's why he can do everything.
And
because everybody has so many different opinions of him. Religion has never defined what God is, what he looks like, but defined the Son of God, naturally, because he became like us when he came down to earth. But nowhere,
Christianity.
At no time in the Bible do they ever give the physical characteristics of God, if he has any, or does he have an astral body, or is he pure energy, or what is he?
There's a description in the Bible that says a description of God, given by God himself. He says, I am. I am what I think it says, I am that I am. And that's what he said. That was his description. And people have seen him as a glow or a burning bush, through the light. But then again, we have other religions that have visions of their gods, and they seem to be, similar. Now, getting back to what is the world's oldest religion? You know what the world's oldest religion was?
Well,
and could that have possibly stirred and broken off into different branches and created Judaism? And, well, we all know from Judaism, Christianity,
that's possible.
And did they split in someone to Hindu, Buddhist, Taoistic, all the way around?
Eastern and Western civilization did not meet for a considerable amount of time. You have China.
But there must have been one basic religion at one time.
Well, Eastern civilization comes from a different source, China. Western civilization comes from the Euphrates. Mesopotamia. Now, Mesopotamia, the Sumerian tribe, had a type of religion, but they were all polytheistic. They believed in many gods.
Yeah.
And that spread to Egypt. And in Egypt, Amenhotep adopted the first monotheistic religion. It was called Zoroastrianism.
Yeah.
And that was the first, the development of Christianity comes from that.
Yeah. Well, I think from Zoro would be for the Zoroastrianism. What is that,
Zoroastrianism.
You think from there sprang Judaism? Because Judaism is monotheistic.
Yeah, Judaism before Christianity.
And the Judaism...
The Christians split away from the Jews. Because when people addressed Christ, they told him rabbi, not as people.
Yeah, but the Judaism come after the fall of Joseph.
Well, I guess Zoroastrianism
Did that fall before Judaism?
It probably was at the same time.
From there and said,
Judaism probably comes from Zoroastrianism.
I think that explains it. There couldn't that be a misnomer for today.
Christianity comes
from Judaism. And I'm just saying that little split between a monotheistic God and or many gods, could that be just sort of maybe, I'm just getting a little bit off the subject, but it's strange. Could that be like this problem we're having in the Middle East between the Arabs and the Jews? Will come back from that point in time, because the Egyptians had polytheistic, and the Jews always had the monotheistic. And I think other Arab countries around there,
the Muslims don't come in until later on. They don't come in until the year 600. That's when Muhammad.
But wasn't there already a great hatred between the two?
There already was, yeah.
You think that's what
700 BC, there was the state of Israel.
Yeah.
But that state was destroyed and the people of Scotland walked away.
Right. So I'm just saying that could it be that going so far back in history that that point of time back then,
yeah,
could that have caused the problems of the world today, being stretched all the way out to man stupidity and holding grudges?
Sure. Oh, it's very tied up in religion. It's really tied up in religion. If you take 600 BC when the Muslims went out and when they heard the word of Muhammad, they said we're gonna convert everybody, and they converted everybody by the sword or one way or another, by force. And they held the Muslims at their height held all of Asia Minor, all of the Middle East, and all of North Africa. So and Europe was all Christian.
Right.
And it was feudal times, medieval times. And
But the Muslims are monotheistic.
that was one of the biggest rivalries. Yeah, you had Christianity and
yeah, but I'm just saying that hatred could have come back from way back between polytheism and monotheism. The difference is...
Well, they were both monotheistic religions, but they had...
No, but before then, they already were enemies when the Arab nations took on the Muslim religion. And I'm just saying that could be the main reason why they became enemies was because of the difference in religion, as they say, the monotheistic and the polytheistic, the big daddy of them all, the egg hatcher. You know, could it be that the main reason, for all that, the conflict today?
Yeah, they were religious differences. Because they took the Arabs and the Jews took their food different.
No, I know that. I'm just saying, well, you got factions in there. You have factions in the Catholic, when you got Catholic and Christianity, you got Catholics, you got Protestant and Ireland.
Right. Especially in Ireland. Because there you have the Protestants and the Catholics. And the heroes of one religion are
the enemies
of the villains of the other.
Yeah.
So there is a real controversy. That's the classic example.
So
that's why you have there's this little joke going around. The pilot of a plane is landing in Belfast, and he says, ladies and gentlemen, we have just landed in Belfast. Unfasten your seatbelt and turn back your watch 600 years. So, what happens with religious rivalries, they just get worse and worse.
Alright, so I'm just saying that God is a thought,
and you have to think about religion still being in a state of evolution. That Christianity will become something else in the future.
Yeah.
And this will be ancient times to the year 5000.
Yeah, but let me say something. I believe that there is a God. I'm not saying that it's... I think all the religions today have the wrong concept of God. I think it's become too full of folklore. I think at one point there is a supreme wisdom, or a supreme being that has wisdom. And each country, as it came along, put their own folklore to it. One split them up into 5 or 6 different gods. One said that it was Buddha. One said it was the Hindus, whatever the Hindu god, and so on. And I think that from these folklore have grown a lot of superstition, have grown a lot, have sent man backwards in his development. Because I think that the basis to all the problems in the world is because of the folklore that surrounds God. So what I consider religion is folklore surrounding one supreme wisdom or individual. Each of them have their own So I'm not saying that there might not be some truth in one and some truth in the other and some truth there and some truth there. But there's also a lot of backward fallacies that they come in. Like you can take the Mormons, they don't allow blood transfusion.
Let's say the Jehovah's
Witnesses, you
The
know.
Mormons are polygamists. They have many wives.
Alright. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I'm just going,
Those are two religions native to America.
both.
Right. The Jehovah's Witness and the Mormons. So we're the Holy Land, which they get the industrial society.
It's because I still religion.
Is the home for those two religions. Boston is the home for Mormons. And
That would be the Muslims' Mecca.
Kansas is the home for, that's the Jerusalem, Mecca, whatever.
It's the birthplace. It's also the birthplace of Judaism.
Getting back to what we were talking about before, about religion holding you on back, I can give you a classic example. If you take the ancient Greeks were fantastic people. They had great playwrights. Aristophanes, Euripides, they had great philosophers. Plato, Socrates, and finally Aristotle. Now, with Aristotle, he became fused into the philosophy of Christianity. He became one of its main supporters, which we never knew anything about it. Because Christianity came in Rome, conquered Greece, long after Aristotle was dead. Now, the Christians took Aristotle as the final word on everything. Now, he never meant that to be. Aristotle was only putting forth his ideas for philosophers who were the next generation and the next one to put on and debate and throw out what isn't any good. So all of these mistakes Aristotle made lasted 1,000 years, and they stopped the development of art, science, literature, just perpetuating it. Where Aristotle became he was as powerful a figure as Christ himself. Going against him was going against God also, and it was punishable.
So whatever he said,
right, the only time that began to break up was in 1500
AD,
1500 AD, when Galileo tried to prove Rome and science. Aristotle said
this was the big ending of the Dark Ages.
That's the ending of the Dark Ages. Aristotle said if you take a light object and a heavy object and drop them from some high place, but the heavier object will hit first. It's wrong. It sounds right, but you can try it. They hit at the same time. And that's all Galileo did. He took a light object, a heavy object, walked up to the top of some place, dropped them, and they hit the ground at the same time. So he had all of these people on the factory. They tried to cover it up. They said, you're going to have to denounce this, or you're going to go to jail. And they just persecuted him until he said, then he got out of jail and he said something else and he was put to death. But he was right. That was the first time that was...
Yeah, they must be saying
there's a great
underground.
There's a great underground that didn't believe in the Aristotle philosophy. And it just slowly destroyed it all rose to the surface until the priests and the time of the Pope.
Yeah, and
they changed it.
Yeah. Well, I was saying that the Aristotelian philosophy is a classic type of philosophy.
It is, and there are many good things about it. But it was a philosophy to be built upon. It wasn't a final word.
Yeah, and I don't think even today is the final word in philosophy.
No, of course not. Because we have a more sophisticated language today. We keep pushing and pushing at ideas until it's gone.
I mean, like, how do you think, how do you think the philosophy of God is changed from where God comes to today? What do you think, from what you see, what do you think today's to the majority of the people, to those people, attitude toward the idea or concept of God?
I think it's lessening. Because they don't, people years ago would eat, sleep, and drink, right?
Yeah.
And now, just on Sundays, somebody go to church. It depends on how strongly they believe in it. You have couples that won't rebirth themselves. But they say they don't want any more kids.
Yeah, I know a lot of couples that wouldn't
all they have to do is say that they don't want any more kids, and they don't have any more kids.
And
But when a baby comes along, they're going to have another kid, because they didn't use contraception.
yeah, but I'm just saying that contraception has been so, a lot of the IUDs have been chosen for cancer. And a number of, people. Cancer cells. And make people more cancer prone. I've read a couple of articles of the IUDs and especially the pill.
I would like to see that building.
Especially the pill.
What type of cancer is it called?
Yes, the uterus. And cancer, you know what, I think it's the ovaries. And they're starting to spring up now that a lot of people that have been taking the pill, for how long has the pill been out? 10 years?
Yeah.
And a lot of people that have been taking the pill are now starting to develop cancer.
Well,
They use
it may be because it's something else.
they're taking people in age group. And it's not to get off the subject, but they're taking people in age group. People who never use the pill, people who use the pill sometimes, people who use the pill all the time. The people in the group, the people who use the pill all the time, so the greatest percentage of eating and
Yes.
the ovary and uterus cancer. And so the greatest percentage of ovary and uterus cancer than the people that use it just sometimes, and the people that use it, the people that don't use it at all, so the smallest amount of uterine.
There are many causes of cancer. I wouldn't blame them all on the birth control.
No, I'm just saying that it correlates. No, I don't want to get off the subject, but it correlates.
Maybe you find out how many people got through red light, they might have some disease in common.
They call them.
I'd virtually see how many people who don't get through red light when they die.
Well, then you take together how many people go through red
It's not
light.
just taking it to
How many people go through red? How many people go through red light over the influence of alcohol? How many people go through red light not under the influence of alcohol? Most likely the people under the influence of alcohol will go through more red light than the people that do not use alcohol. So I'm just saying that this thing, I believe I read in the Reese Digest, said that out of people, the group that was using birth control pills constantly, like almost to receive every day for the past number of years since it's been out, I don't know if it's 10 years, 7 years, or whatever, people that some have shown 30% of the cancer than the people who use it only sometimes, like when they don't want to have a kid or they want to have a kid. When they want to have a kid, they stop using it, and then when they don't want to have a kid, they use it, and the ones who don't use it at all. And I'm just saying that just looking at it, it does seem to prove that birth control pills do.
I'm sure there's another side to that story, though.
Now this is what I read in the Reader's Digest. I don't know how the Reader's Digest is anything that they get their hands on. They try, and play up there's a very cancer scare, that and prevention magazine. That and prevention magazine.
Who are the main readers? Who are the main readers of the Reader's Digest?
I don't know, as for my own case, my father gets it, so sometimes I pick it up and I read it. I never buy it myself.
So, I would like to see something in rebuttal to that. Because
I'm pretty sure you probably could find it.
I don't think it's a valid correlation to me.
Well, this is the unique digest, okay? So anybody can read it.
Because I would like to know how the data was obtained. How many people they used. If they only use 2 or 3 and they still between them.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll try and find it.
You get out of that would be a statistic.
I'll try and find the 18, I'll try and find the They had statistics
To
in
find
it.
something out
They
of the
had,
population.
they had statistics in it. And how many people use, I mean, I can't remember offhand. But just getting back to that. Oh, it's not really
There's a reason not to use the questions like that.
No, but getting back to that, so another reason, how come man was allowed to create the birth control pill?
Why?
Because God allowed him to
Because God
create it.
allowed it.
Now God seems to
I
be,
can't see people giving away their talent. Like people getting away their talent.
how,
They're always attributing them to something else. Oh,
what do you mean by,
like the guy who formulated
Formulated
the
that.
process.
no, did you think
I
that,
bet he felt happy that he did it himself.
what?
He worked on it many years and he developed it.
Then how about these people saying that it causes cancer? They're the ones that, you think that they have any religious,
They're the ones out to scare people and stop them from taking it. Because the birth of a child is the act of God.
so you think that people that,
That's what
so
it
you
says.
think these people,
But see, these readers, but we are not shepherds. We are
yeah,
not
what I'm
shepherds
saying though is that these people that,
small tribes, and that's what has to change.
what I'm saying though is that these
We're
people
on an
that,
overcrowded planet, and we will pollute ourselves to death if we keep this up. If there are women if every woman has 8 children, take care of it.
now hold on, but I'm just saying
Because
that,
populations grow.
do you
At a
think,
tremendous rate.
yeah, so, I'm just thinking that, do you
They
think,
grow proportionally to the number present at any time. If you work that out, it comes out to be the time is exponential with respect to the number of people.
what I'm trying to say is this, like, do you think that people who would put this information out would possibly have deep religious convictions against it and go out all out to prove?
Maybe, or maybe they're responsible scientists that are doing it. It's hard to say, because you can always get the name of the author of the article and look at the credentials.
All right, then I'm saying if you
But
look at
that
the
won't
article,
even tell
so
you.
what happened
That
if the
won't even
article,
tell you anything.
what I'm saying, if the article was examined to say, if the experiments that they did with the correlations and everything, that to you if they look valid, did you change your mind on birth control rates?
No, I would like some sort of studying done. Because
I mean, say if it
you
was
don't know
good.
anything.
I'm just
You
saying
don't
that,
realize that a lot of things are getting around too. There are a lot of these papers that the man gets his hands on the machine and he cuts it off. What was
No, this is
the inquiry years ago?
well,
Without all of that stuff in it.
every October,
And you
somebody
don't
will get
realize
their
the power that you know, because
rates.
people read that and they believe it. People read that nonsense and they believe it.
I tell you, the requirements that
Because
you know, the
it's-
flying sources and harvesting.
I know, there are always flying saucers coming down. They have out of this world visitors every week.
Any out of this world visitors, that would again
That
put
wouldn't really
example-
go anything.
no, but it would put example on a lot of religious beliefs that believe that they're the only life that God created.
Well,
This is another,
some of the UFO sightings last year.
yeah, but I'm saying, according to religion, we are the center of the universe.
I know, and Copernicus was all wrong when he put us.
Sending that all over
That's
there,
what the
we're
sun
saying-
should be. Later on, we found out different.
Right, but I'm just saying
But
that, I'm just saying that
any
there are,
case today will tell you that the Earth goes around the sun. Any case today will tell you that the Earth goes around the sun. The planets go around the sun. It's a scientific known fact. Oh, it's accepted, and but years ago, If you died Copernicus today, you were going to get killed. You were going to be put in jail or whatever.
In other words,
announced what you said.
you were considered being a heathen.
And people are quick to call people atheists. Because they think a little different. Because this is not, God is not a tyrant. God is not, he's not destroying people. That's the way I see it. See, a lot of this wrath of God comes from the good God. See, Reese, he was a real son of a gun.
Now, he was a meteor.
He said thunderbolts and he'd pulverize people to dust. He cheated on his wife. He was always drinking. He was just rotten. He was just unbelievably rotten. And a lot of this has filtered in. A lot of the Greek mythology is filtered into Christianity.
Right.
And that's where you get that vengeful God, that will strike you down if you do anything against him. But he won't, because the real Christian God, if you read and really think about it, won't do that.
So you're saying that I'm saying that as man progresses, God's got more lenient. And I was saying,
yes,
but
people the churches themselves have got more lenient. Now, I can't see God making...
No, but God seems to
I can't see God denying his truth a wife. There's no reason why he shouldn't.
That, I said, the folklore and the
right, but celibacy is only 450 years old. That was created by man.
Yes.
So these priests order on themselves. They voted.
Don't you have some of the apostles had wives? I think that's
because it only
and they were supposed to be one of the first three.
Celibacy only happened 450 years ago.
That's true, so that's one of the things that matter. But going on, when I was saying that man has created more lenient gods as he goes through time. It's the switch of the branch off from Judaism into Christianity, from the wrathful father to the more understanding son.
Right, because with this move to the psychological in the last century, where it is commanded to change. This had to be the way. This had to be the way if there was to be any religion at all. But
what happened
in ancient history, if you broke the law, that was offending God. So that's why separation of church and state is very important.
Because some of the laws of state
You break the law, you're going against God. Jaywalking. Did you see that? Jaywalking is not an offense against God.
No, but I'm not saying why you're separating laws.
Right.
But I don't think it takes that far down saying that if you jaywalk, God's going to strike you dead or this or that or the other thing.
But in ancient times it was. In ancient times it was contrasting. The church and state were together.
So you think that man is getting more liberal as he goes through his evolution?
Yes.
And you think that religion or God will become even more like present day? Do you think that maybe 100, 200 years from now, God will be pictured in a suit of present day man? Have you ever,
no, but I'd say in the year 4000 he would be, when people come and dig up New York.
I was wearing one of our suits.
Their God will probably be wearing one of our suits.
I mean, like it would be suggesting, I'm just wondering, whatever catch up to have God like man. Now, like let's say today, we would have picture of we would have a picture of Jesus Christ in a mod business suit.
Yeah, because if you're such a Mormon, says it's nasty. He's Christ to the Mormon.
He's not considered God, though.
Yeah, but he has a vision.
Yeah, but he's not God.
He's pictured in the street of the 1830s.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that he's not God.
But it's going on a few thousand years. They'll still be Mormons and they'll still have this kind of truth.
Yeah, I know, but still John Smith is not, I don't think they consider him God. I think they consider him,
They consider him Jesus Christ.
oh, they did consider him, he was like,
He was like Jesus
he was like,
Christ. They come to an entire from the two religions beyond the earth.
Muslim push like, alright, you could say Judaism, Jesus Christ is a prophet. He's not the son of God. And even in Muslim religion, Jesus Christ is mentioned as a prophet.
Yeah, but Muhammad is mentioned as being the better one.
Yeah, well, he was like a, well, I don't know if the Muslim religion has a son of God or not.
Well, I really don't know anything about Allah. Allah is their God. But he's another one of these mystical things like the Christian God.
I'm not getting it from a psychological point of view, and I'm not saying this to offend anybody. Okay, I'm just, this is from a psychological point of view. What drove man to make a son of God?
What drove man to make a son of God?
To make a son of God. From a psychological point of view.
Because God was so far away. Man wanted to get closer to him.
Do you think that the people of those times saw that maybe, as like say in today's times, people were drifting away from God? From what it seems like, a lot of people were drifting away from the religion, drifting away from God. And they saw this. And a faction said, well, we'll have to make a son of God. Something now to bring them back and to relate to them closer. And when the Son of God came around with the Lord Jesus Christ, there was more of a religious revival. Do you think that now we're on the time to summon the Son of God?
Well,
I mean that again there seems to be a great alienation between God and man. This is, and the time is when Christ was born, there was starting to be a great alienation between different factions of the Judaic religion. There were some that were, still like the idea of having the Father as the one God, and today the people that follow that faction are today Jews. And the ones that wanted something more closer that they could relate to chose to have a Son of God.
right, the ones that
And went into Christianity.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, is it time now? Do you think that it looks like the same thing as
a lot of people believe that Jesus Christ was. But if you take the circle religion,
I'm just saying this is a psychological thing. I'm not saying that
it depends on how many people follow it. The circle religion believes that Christ was reincarnated in Mother Ann. So everybody who believes that believes that there was another coming of Christ.
but I mean,
But we've only seen Christ once because we don't believe him. I personally don't believe that he was reincarnated in Mother Ann.
no.
One of the unfortunate things of the circle religion is all of them practice celibacy so after one generation they all died.
Well, there was no next. I mean, if you're stupid.
Well, that is insanity.
I'm saying, on a wide nationwide, worldwide.
If there was another Son of God, I think even less people would believe. Because we don't believe that way.
But why? I'm just saying that there's a similarity between the times when Christ came down and the times now. That people are people are very alienated to religion. If you go and you see the Catholic, you go to a church, and you go to a Catholic, Protestant church, or Protestant religion anyway. You're not supposed to go to, you don't have to go to church every Sunday. That's the Orthodox view. there's only going to be traffic. When you go to North, like I've heard a lot of people say, my God, there's no young people there. They're all in the middle until they're old age. And the Jewish religion is having a campaign now, saying that save Judaism because all they're young. I don't know if you've seen it on television, but they're ready to save Judaism, give money to save Judaism because a lot of the young Jews are just turning away from their religion. They're losing all their young pastors, and the whole thing is that they're not coming back to religion. They're not coming back to religion.
It's no more of a serviceable tourism now. Let it die.
But do you think that after all these thousands of years that it would die just like that?
No, it'll go
I
down.
think that
It'll go down gradually if it's done.
No, but from what it looks like, they're saying that the Jews today are going to die like that.
They're just getting penalty right away. They're still filming, I believe.
All right, but at a time when Christ came, the same thing was happening.
But what people don't
What
people don't like is being having all over them. We have so many restrictions on us today that we don't need any more.
I know, but what I'm saying is that
Just their attitude.
at the time when Christ came,
It's only 5 years ago that the Pope really admitted that there was some other use for sex and the perpetuation of the species. And of course there's no other use for sex. Because it gets the man and woman together where they can really be together and create a baby.
So I'm just saying that
If they only have sex
there will be another resurgence.
how could it be functioning?
There will be another resurgence following another God-like, God, God,
Very well may be. Look at Harry Krishna. The Harry Krishna is growing by leaps and bounds.
that's the growing,
A religion of people at bed and a technological society. How do you rationalize that? People are turning away from the superstructure. They're turning away from everything. That's the age of it. This is the age of rebellion. There's nothing wrong that hasn't been wrong for the last 2,000 years.
I want to get past saying, wasn't the age of rebellion in the Roman Empire was 4?
So,
No, you're saying that
So once
the
the
age of rebellion here, the diaspora or the age of rebellion in Egypt.
what do you expect to do? Run the police and army down on top of us?
No, I'm not
And
saying
make
that.
us believe in religion?
No,
Make us
I don't
stand in line.
want to come off as a Hitler. I'm just saying that I'm just trying to put it from a scientific viewpoint of a correlation. Of a similarity going in cycles, cycles and cycles and cycles.
Rome had handled the Danes and so did America at the first time.
I'm not saying
The
that.
Romans were originally called the Etruscans, and it was
I'm not saying that we're going to have a load
they rose to nearly world domination.
of secret things. You didn't go to church today, and you really think you know what I mean.
What happens is when countries are first formed, there's a lot of nationalism, and then they really start building up, they get things done, and they start going out to conquering countries and taking out, and they become bigger and bigger. But there's a certain point where people realize that the people of that country realize that everybody else has a right to live. Everybody else has a right to be free. Everybody else has a right to be anything they want to be, not persecuted by us.
Do you think that maybe one of the reasons that there is a big point
Well, look at this. Let me
when you want people away from religion is because God has become big business?
Just think of that. If Vietnam happened right after the Civil War, we would have just run all over the country. We would have attacked North Vietnam, taken this, killed everybody we could. Because we were still struggling nation. We were still rising up. We hadn't realized the fact that the Vietnamese had a right to go free, had a right to choose their own government. But that's what was there. That's what was there. It was incontinent. That's what stopped. That's what stops those.
No,
That's what stops everybody from running all over Asia.
so maybe, another way that,
But out of another town. On another town, we
other
attach it all
countries
to Southeast Asia.
they're developing more of a country.
Right. And if that means the country will die, it's in motion. What can you do?
No, but I guess
I'd rather know what I know. I'd rather know and feel what I know today rather than be restricted.
but
until
that was
50 years
it
ago.
seems that in good times and in Roman times the same thing happened.
Yes.
It's going to avoid
People believe in it, and they begin to lose faith in everything.
and then it just went,
Because we cannot capture the feeling of 1776. You and Reese and Derek Sanderson writing that there. We can't capture that feeling. We can read about it. We can say, wow, it's really something, but we cannot capture it.
I understand.
And that's about nationalism becomes so important in this. Not it's just to live and see our country become great. We are great now. Let's become greater. Let's do some things we haven't done. Let's cure disease.
No, that's true. That's salvation. And everything else becomes everything.
So that's where behind there are people in government who believe in this country. That's why we have foreign aid.
Now, let me just say, we've been getting back on the subject of staff.
Okay.
Do you think today, and they were saying before, that maybe the major reason for a lot of people turning away from religion, especially young people in this country, is that maybe God has become too much like big business?
Yeah. It's just become another the power structure. It's become another apathetic, bureaucratic entity.
I think
It's not like a Sunday beginnings. It has gold statues. It has plenty of money.
I also could see something in that what happened about a month, something to what you said that what happened about in the towards about the third week of July. That proves that point.
Yeah.
That we I think we know what it is.
Yes.
But that's really it's personal to them, and that's really says that it's just something that, really proves, where it was at with at least some of the abuse and utterly displeasing within their lives. Too much by the book. There's so many, the words and this and that, and this and that.
That's another thing. The Catholic clergy is much too secluded. They're not very loud in my but I don't really understand what's going on.
Now, I would think that the Protestant clergy would probably be more to the touch.
They are in touch.
Because they're more or less, they're married, they have a family of their own, they got their own kids, they know how they take care of it. I think if the Catholic Church took the example of even Judaism, rabbis can have wives. I know I worked for a rabbi, he had children, and he was a rabbi. I worked for him, he's a nice guy. You could talk to him, but I could never, as I was saying as a Catholic, I could really never talk to a priest like I would talk to him. And he would talk about his own religion. I would go up there and say, how do you, I would just feel like I have your Bible stories, and I don't read this verse and that, I have to be relaxed, I understand what I was going to say. I think he would go up to a priest and say, how is it on that you say this, she probably would get excited. I just couldn't get to know religion that well unless they were out there. As I said, there's one priest that I met that was fantastically out there, and that was one of our mutual friends, Gordon. The one with the beard.
Yeah.
And then he was like, talking to me about how he used to So, you see, some of the script goes on where he was thinking, I mean, like, it didn't make me think any less of him, it just made me feel like he was human, you know? Like, they all are human, and that's why they couldn't box themselves up. Because I know that their body's not the same. Well, and I think they're not, just don't function that way, that you function better if they don't. I think a lot of religious contradictions are saying that they have their own free will, but how could they have any free will at all? They're crazy. A lot of their free will is taken away from them, even though they say they give it up. Why could they have to give it up? No, because the will of man. You know that the will of man says there's a celibacy. I'm just saying that in the Catholic Church, I think the celibacy will should be dropped. And I think that a lot of the rules, if you remember from I had a Catholic education for 8 years. I know that there are 6 or 8 lords of the church. Do you know if he said that you had to receive, that you had to receive communion every year, otherwise you can even know it's going to live in God, and his spirit of the church, which was made to by the church. He was supposed to be in touch with God, but I doubt if every one of the Pope actually spoke to them and said, well, we're doing it this way. And this is the new law. You know, I think it's good. I think there's a lot of politics. So that through that Pope's mind that made these laws. No, I would really like him to be around, you know, when the Cardinal was elected Pope. I would really like to go around. What do they say? What is the first impression, the first expression? What do I do now? Where are you? That he can still play and he can still, I mean, it's just like he's still a garden. Right. No, we just about ran out of time.